Welcome to the SNR Podcast, where freedom for the mind, body, and soul takes center stage. We're here to break down the system, expose the truth, and inspire real change. From the state-national movement to uncovering how the government's just a corporation, to diving deep into the Federal Reserve's hold over the world, we're here to give it to you straight. But it's not just about exposing corruption. We're also bringing you the tools to heal with meditation, breath work, and natural healing practices that help elevate your life. We're loud, we're edgy, and yeah, we're funny as hell. Steve's got jokes, Kenny's got the research, and Ashley's keeping us organized, while Gwen's here to inspire both the young and the wise. This is the SNR Podcast.
Exactly what it is. Folks, welcome to episode Pineapple Express. Is this 13 or 14?
That's funny.
I'm gonna say episode 14, but my math is terrible. Episode 14. I'm
Count
here.
14.
Yeah, no, I just can't remember what number because we've only recorded every couple of weeks. And that's my fault because I'm swamped with work.
Yeah.
But anyway, tonight we have a couple of incredible updates. One of them with a new app and a new opportunity for anyone who wants to get a better understanding of their legal exposures, how to handle themselves in pro se litigation. My man, the wizard, the genius, Captain Dingaling, Kenny, has absolutely... That's a joke from 5 minutes ago. You guys don't need to know how that came up. But they have an unbelievable new toy for all state nationals and non-state nationals alike to play with and experiment with. And I'm telling you, this is going to be, I really feel like this new app is going to just throw you guys into the stratosphere, because one of the things that I've noticed on this journey is the amount of people who come to this cause who want to become state nationals because they're in some type of legal trouble.
Yeah. Common, very common.
So what Kenny, Ashley, and Gwen have put together for you, and I'm going to step aside and give my man the mic here in a minute, but what they have put together is an absolute, and this is not a sales pitch, it's a game changer. It's going to give you the ability to both understand and grasp the process of standing on your rights rather than defending them, but also procedurally, if you can't find an error or something that would cause a dismissal, it'll help guide you through the process in terms of paperwork, filings, things like that. So this is like the big brother of legal apps. There is nothing like it. This is one of a kind.
Yeah, there's nothing like it.
So other than that, here's the other updates. I'm still short and ugly. Kenny is still in Texas. We have these badass new backgrounds who it took me 20 minutes to figure out that because I'm seeing the vision backwards.
Steve did that.
Yes.
Steve did it. Thank you, Steve. They look awesome, bro.
Thank you.
I
fucked it up 20 times before we can get it out. But
it's not about the failures. It's how many times you get up, right?
Exactly. It's not about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can hit and then hit that woman back. I mean, get up and keep moving forward. That's what I meant. Equal rights, equal lefts.
You ever seen that funny ass? It was back in the day when I used to be watching all the Matrix shows, but I remember they showed on, what was it, South Park, where it's like Macho Man beats all the chicks, bro, and that's literally how it is now. And the chicks are all equality. Now they have dudes kicking their ass. I wonder how equality is going now. Like,
I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to see something funny, go on YouTube and just type in equal rights, equal lefts. And it's just compilation videos of women who are stepping up to men, and you're getting your equality. But it's all over YouTube.
Oh, that's crazy. I feel bad for that. I don't advocate for any type of that abuse.
It's primarily women hitting law enforcement or security guards or bouncers, and then just getting fucking tossed away. But
damn. Well, hey. Pretty wild. Well, Due Process Defender can help you if you ever get assaulted, ladies.
Ladies, if you're out there and your man is hitting you, we have the solution for you, and it's not a firearm.
Well, the craziest thing is the tool works for if just your rights are violated in general, period. So if you just have and this has nothing to do with state national, this is all people, everybody. It doesn't matter. Red and yellow, black and white, everybody can do this, guys. It doesn't matter your religion, nothing. It protects anybody, and it looks for violations. it's programmed with the top due process violations, and that's what it's going to scan for. Because what people don't realize, or most people don't know, is that in order for court to be lawful, it has to follow a legal process, and that legal process is called due process. And if due process is violated in any small increment and you can find it, you can exploit the error, the whole case goes away, because due process must be perfected. And if it's not, and there's a little glitch in the matrix, this will find it, it'll exploit it, and it'll beat the case. Never challenging guilt. It doesn't say, are you guilty or not? It doesn't matter. It only looks, it doesn't need to. It looks for process errors. And so there, it's funny, you're talking about Pineapple Express. One of my friends was an actual process server. So I actually made a video about a kid, and I let it rip. I didn't care. It ripped on Facebook, hit almost 300,000 in like 24 hours. But I noticed that nobody knew that you can't serve your own lawsuit, because in the video, the kid serves his own lawsuit to the cop while he's on duty. And so I said, fuck it. I'm going to make it with this clip because it's hilarious. But, in reality, if that kid served that lawsuit in that way, if you're a party to a lawsuit, you're not allowed to serve it, because you could see how that's a conflict of interest, because then you could just go to court and lie about it, right? Because now it serves you. So for court, they do not like that conflict of interest like that. So you have to have someone else serve them that's at least 18 and older, or hire a process server. So the kid serves the cop right there, dude. And people were like commenting, but nobody knew. Only 4 people. And there was about 200 comments with both of my accounts combined, and only 4 people knew that, hey, you can't serve your own lawsuit. So that's exactly why we created Due Process Defender, because it's not like a simple tool. It literally tells you who to call. You can say, educate me on this. It'll pull all the education. It will tell you how, say a cop gropes you, grabs you by the titty. Is that illegal? Fuck yeah, it is. How can you sue him? Dude, it shows you how to file complaints on 10 different levels. Like, not 10, but it's like 5 different people you can file complaints with against them to start establishing your lawsuit. And then it shows you how to sue them. It shows you who to call. It shows you the courthouse. Where's the fucking link? Give me the link on how I can set up my Pacer account so I can do online filing. Oh, you need that? Boom. Anything you need. It's like an active tool that will get on the internet. It's not like a dumb bot that's just like programmed. It's programmed.
No, it's an AI app. Yeah.
No, it's fucking genius. This thing smokes. It's gonna scare the fuck out of all the prosecutors, all the judges, because now in reality they can't cheat you. And this is the fucked up part. This is what I noticed, and this is a big reason on why I created it, Steve, is because when I saw my grandma going to court, I realized that the plaintiff was portfolio recovery, right? And you know what's crazy is within the 10 days. It wasn't even 10. Within 1 week of it launching, Portfolio Recovery got in contact with our website developer, like the hosting, and they now banned certain words that we send out in emails. So I can't even send out an email that says the word Portfolio Recovery, because whoever fucking works for them contacted the website hosting and ban all these fucking words, dude. That's how scared these bastards are, because this is why. In court, the judge will get your lawsuit, Steve. They'll look at it, and it'll have all these fucking errors. Error after error after error. The whole lawsuit's shit. But it doesn't matter. We don't know to look for it. Yeah. Exactly. It doesn't matter. The judge don't give a fuck about that. All they care about is, do you know? Because for the judge, Portfolio Recovery and these credit debt collectors, they're bringing revenue for that judge because they have court cases, court cases, and that is money. So they don't tell you, hey, by the way, this is, you can't put a redacted document on original complaint. It has to be, complete. And this is considered incomplete. So it should be to where the judge says, look, you can't be filing these bad complaints. But they don't give a fuck, Steve. So that's basically how they do it. And because they're able to cheat like that, it allows the judge to basically just sit on the side, and if you don't know your rights, well, guess what? You ain't fucking got them. And that's why it's so important, because if you just type in your shit, you scan in your shit, if it sees a redaction, it's going to tell you, all right, here we go, motion to strike. Let's get this document removed because it has a redaction. First, it's going to ask for production. It's going to do a request for production. And all this type of shit people have no clue about. So right away, it's going to tell you, look, this is what you have to do. This is why you have to do it. Let me educate you. And if you don't know, it will teach it to you every fucking step. Like, that's what's so powerful about it. In a simplified way, not this dumb fucking legalese bullshit. It's going to simplify it, break it down, and before you know it, it's going to strike that shit right off the record. And once they don't have a complaint, they don't have a lawsuit. And once they don't have a lawsuit, case fucking dismissed.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. My grandma owed them two different things she owes them. One's $5,000, one's $2,500. It's done. They're fucking done. Yeah, she owed them, but they lost in process. So anybody out there, when it comes to being violated or court or debt collection or anything, there's nothing like due process defender. And I couldn't be more proud of something. I've never seen something perform like that. I was like, you are like the shit. I've never seen nothing like it.
No,
And
it's awesome. And I'm telling you, and again, because, Kenny and Ashley and Gwen have made me an administrator on their Facebook page. So I get to see the amount of inquiries and comments and questions that all are revolved around legal proceedings, questions, anything you could imagine on the spectrum of criminality or accusations. You guys get these questions and comments. So to me, I look at that and, okay, now you have, so people who are on the fence about reclaiming their birthrights and their freedom and becoming a state national, if you're on the fence about it, or if you don't know, and again, we've been pretty adamant about this on the podcast. Becoming a state national does not exclude you from the law. It doesn't exclude, it's not a free pass to run out and, wreak havoc and get away with it. But now with the tools you're putting together, the knowledge, the education you have on the website, the camaraderie, the network that we have, there's never been a better time to take your life back and to understand, you can learn every step of the way. Becoming a state national is a gigantic re-education on what we were never taught as children growing up. And now you have this AI tool, which is walking you through that. And now think about in legal fees, what this could save you. Yeah. Forget guilty, innocent, this, that, the money. And this is from someone who's been sued for $1.26 million from an old business partner. The fucking money that gets pissed away from bullshit. So now this is a game changer, and I really do think that this is the one thing that's what I love about this is that there's a lot of people who teach this process. We've covered some. We don't like to name names, but there are people out there who teach this process, but they do it in a very car salesman type fashion. They present a lot of things. They don't give you the knowledge. They don't give you what we're trying to do here for you. And they certainly don't give you anything like what Due Process Defender can provide for you. Yeah, this is now and I'm not, again, all of them part of the team. It's just we've just trumped everybody. But
I'm telling you, it smokes them all out. I'm going to tell you, you know what, since we spoke on all those reasons, I want to tell people why I think movements aren't working properly. Due Process Defender smokes out a lot of the stuff because if you're part of the assemblies, your shit doesn't work in court. It doesn't work. You can't go to court. You can't defend yourself. If the HOA sues you, you have no help. You have no knowledge. You can't do anything.
Kenny, on
all
Telegram,
you can do is sovereign citizen shit. You can't stand up for yourself, bro.
I follow a bunch of the assemblies on Telegram, California. I follow a bunch of them. And the one recurring theme I see, again, is people who are in legal trouble, but they're
help.
They're lost. Screwed. They're in a fucking corn maze somewhere.
Bro, but that's what they all tell us, Steve.
Yeah, but but the point I'm trying to get to is that you're in legal trouble, so your first reaction is you think the assembly is going to save you. The assembly can't save you because there's no legal leg for them to stand on.
So this is what I want you to do. If people learn how the system works, it doesn't work based on the way they do it. So what do? They tell you to go to the LRO and to record your documents on a private, recording. That doesn't work in court. That's garbage. That's fake. And then I knew people that were getting their IDs and they're putting a real, it's seal, it's like the eagle crest and all that shit. They were putting that seal and stamping it on their fucking their IDs they were giving out. And people that I knew got arrested for forgery that were a part of the assemblies when it first started up back in the day. They don't talk about that, but that is illegal. You can't use government seals on your documents. So this is the problem I figured out. I figured out that everything has to operate, Steve, through the system. It has to. If you go outside and say, I'm going to create a new system, they're going to see you as an enemy of the state. And eventually you're going to be like, you're going to be like Waco, David Koresh shit. But if you're inside the system and you want to correct it using the channels that are available, like State Nationals Rock, we do an individual petition back to claim your nationality, because that's what the AOR is. It's an individual petition. Then we petition to change things. As a collective unifying, we switch out these roles, and we're never creating something new. We're just fixing what's there, because the Republic does exist. It just has to be acknowledged, and the people have to stand up for it. That's it. You don't have to create the assemblies and do all this bullshit and pretend like you know everything, and then you go to court and get squished every single time. They don't win. Their leaders don't win. And they always, every time they get in legal trouble, we get all these emails from them. And we're like trying to help them. And now we got you the help. It's due process defender. There's no more debate. The due process defender knows if your documents are good or bad. And all you have to do is scan it in. It's going to say, hey, how did you do it? And if you record it at the assemblies, it's going to tell you why it's doo-doo and why it doesn't work in court. And that's what I think is very special, because it's not, it doesn't care. It just wants to see, will it work in court? Okay, you're good. You're protected, and it wants to empower you with knowledge. It's not going to fill you with all this philosophy and stupid shit. No, it'll tell you.
And for anyone that's ever been to court, like Kenny, I know I've been to court. We talked about this. I know you've been to court. I don't think people have this impression, if you've never been in trouble with the law and you've never had to go before a judge or a jury or any of these things, it is not a fucking thing like what you're seeing on TV. I think my fear is that people believe that when you go into court, you can behave as if you're watching, as if you watch people behave on TV and shows. Like, no, man. Like, as someone who's been cross-examined, put on stand, in, for an old business partner I had, it is very simple. They ask you a question, you answer it. If you veer off, they strike it from the record. Like, they want black, white, yes, no. It's not what you know. What can you prove? Is this admissible evidence? Okay, we can move forward. Or no, this evidence won't be allowed in.
That's true.
It's not complicated. It's confusing if you've never gone through it, and it's incredibly intimidating. But they set it up to be that way. And look, and I've said this 1,000 times before on this podcast, on my old podcast. If you spend an hour a day, 15 minutes a day, I don't care what it is, 15 minutes a day for 365 days, for 1 year, 15 minutes a day, you will become a subject matter expert on whatever it is you're studying. So the real question is, how dedicated are you to understanding your rights, how to stand on them in lieu of defending them? I'd rather stand on my rights than have to stand in front of somebody after being accused of something and defend them. I'd rather stand on them because I know them. But how much are you willing to sacrifice of your comfort and your personal time to better understand the optimal way to live within this corrupt system? Because there is a way to operate in it and exist in it. And this to me is one of the most prolific, unique, and game-changing apps. Dude. I think everyone should have this, because look, it's something as simple as a speeding ticket up to murder. This will advise you.
My client, the Honorable Henry T. Fleming, should go right to fucking jail. The son of a bitch is guilty
On everything.
It shouldn't be used for murder.
I'm not advocating for it, but I'm saying just in case.
I seen another guy. He's like in the movement too. I seen him. I watched him go to court. Most biggest idiot I ever saw in court. I was like, oh, I can't believe people follow him. Got everyone kicked out. Thought the cops were eating it out of his hand. Didn't know a lick of shit about court, but pretended. It was the most obvious thing. And we drove like 14 hours to go help this guy. And we literally had everything. We had a UNA, which, remember you sent me a UNA?
Yes.
That unincorporated. Okay, so my friend had sent me one, and I was joined his UNA, and from the unincorporated association, he gave me all the documents I needed to be able to speak on the guy's behalf that was in trouble.
You were just basically a proxy at that point.
So I was going to go and speak, and then here goes Bobby not knowing what to say. They don't know court. These people don't know court. And they're over there saying they're going to get their trust. They're liars. They're lying,
my God.
Dude.
If I hear one more person tell me they're going to go to court and get this $50 million payout, I'm going to get a black credit card. Like, no, you're not.
Yeah, you're not.
No, you are
You're
not.
They're lying. And it's true. I know, because that's why I went and met David. I wanted to know, is this all real? Does he really have it? No, he didn't. Gwen worked for him for 7 months. They're lying. They're all lying. And that's probably what threw me over the top, to where people are like, wow, why are you so mad at these people? It's not that I'm mad. It's that they're lying to you. The system's already so corrupt. What do we need all these bullshit liars for? Like, it doesn't need to exist. Like, move along with your bullshit.
You're not going to change the system. The way this country is set up right now, you are not going to change it. You have to learn. All right, listen, if your lifestyle, if your personal choices on a day-to-day basis lead you down a path of breaking the law, then your fucking ass better hurry up and understand how to navigate through those waters, because no attorney, like the average person that goes out and breaks the law on a consistent basis, minus corporate CEOs, things like that, who commit.
Well, we don't advocate for that. Fuck them.
No, I'm not advocating.
Caught up.
I'm not advocating for it. What I'm saying is, these people can afford the top attorneys. There's backdoor deals that we made. They have the money to waste to get out of trouble. The rest of us, we don't have that luxury. So if your plan and your objective in life is to live it the way you want and live outside of the societal norms and rules, you really need to understand how to navigate these waters. Otherwise, you are just going to keep banging your head against the wall. And at the end of the day, you have to kind of come to the agreement with yourself internally. What type of human being do you want to be? What kind of legacy do you want to leave? Do you want to contribute to your community? Do you want to help people? And listen, I'll just take me as an example, because I have no problem poking fun at myself or using myself as an example. But Kenny, how many times have you and your family tried to give me money or get me to do things with you financially? And I've said no, because it's not why I'm in this.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like that.
I know, we had to force you. We found Steve a job. We're like, Steve, we found you a job. You're going to do this. It's going to work good.
I didn't have a choice. No, but the point I'm trying to make is
you did. Steve always turns it down and wants to help people. And I think that's why we are so
sincerity.
attached.
Yeah.
That's how we were, Steve, exactly like you. We went and offered our help for free to people like the people I'm referring to. And you know what? They didn't want our help. You know why? Because we bring real change.
Because you're genuine.
We wanted to answer all the common questions so people don't have to go through that stupid shit. And you know what their response was? No, because then they won't come to our shows.
Yes.
That's all they cared about.
It's about it. Kenny, I'm gonna tell you the truest thing I've learned in my 46 years on this earth. I don't chase money. I did when I was a kid. I didn't want to put the work in. I wanted to just get a job and just make fucking money. That's why I got into sales. Then I realized with sales that there is a certain element of bullshit that goes with it. I don't want to lie to people. I don't so sales wasn't for me. Like, I'm great at it, but I fucking despise it at the same time. So you have to kind of come to this this understanding internally. Like, who do you want to be? Like, me personally, I don't want to be the guy that's like, yeah, he'll help you, but it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. And we've talked about other people who pitch this process. Someone we spoke about recently, and it's just an exorbitant amount of money that they charge. And
some of them charge a lot.
And you and I both know what they're selling is impossible.
Yeah, it's not true.
And then again, you helped out one individual in particular recently about there being, and I'll give you a little more. I'll give you.
I just did a small piece. I didn't complete the help. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
But what I'm saying is, like, this, there was no financial gains in it for us.
No,
you know what I mean? Like, you and I did this.
We want to see him succeed, right?
And the update. So I'll just continue
what is his
on this
update?
He got a notice of dismissal from the IRS.
And how much did he owe?
Okay, so there was
$230,000.
No, $336,000. So there's a gentleman that I met through a webinar I did to a group of guys called the Men of War, and they've had me on twice. They're a terrific group of guys, and one gentleman in particular who lives here in Rhode Island with me. I don't want to say his name just in case he wants to maintain his anonymity, but he, in 2015, just stopped paying his taxes. Now, I won't mention names, but one individual that he goes to church with has a tremendous understanding of the IRS, and not of our process, but of the ideology behind not being a taxpayer. Charged him between $5,000 and $7,000. I'll split the difference, say $6,000. Helped them write all these letters, sent them into the IRS. The IRS ignored all of them because none of it's legal, none of it's affidavits, none of it's court. It's not evidence. They don't get. So basically, to me, you gave this guy $5,000 or $6,000 to send letters to the IRS on your behalf to tell him how smart he is. They don't give a shit.
Yeah,
So
they don't
then,
care.
No, then he gets hit with intent to lien levy. So now they're saying, all right, well, you stopped filing in 2015. He owes $336,000 in back taxes. So then he goes to another individual in our niche, and they charged him over the course of a year about $22,000. And that did absolutely nothing.
It's the guarantee guy. You hear him? Charged them 22 G's and didn't do shit.
The only thing he did for him is he got him his state nationals passport. It's the only thing he did. No. You
can get that for $17 on our website.
All right. So listen, I'm sorry. Let me back up a little bit. It wasn't Paymon that helped him. It was somebody else that helped him with that. The individual, the name is escaping me. I will get it, but that's not who helped him get his passport. So Kenny, tell me, which one of your memberships gives you access to get your passport? The cheapest one.
The cheapest one, $17.
Okay, so for $17, we can show you how to get your state nationals passport.
And what did he get paid?
$4,500. $4,500.
This is why I despise those people.
Okay, back to my story about this individual. So now he gets all these letters from the IRS. He gets letters from tax court, blah, blah, blah. So I turned him on to what I thought was a powerful resource, that WeissParis.com, Weiss and Associates.
Yeah.
So
they used to be friends with me on TikTok when I was going viral, and they always were supporting me. I like those people. I remember them.
So what this gentleman did is now he's looking down the barrel of his business and his home, all of his property, everything being liened, levied, everything being held up, freezing assets. So I said, sir, I would suggest. Now, Kenny, you spoke to him. You advised him. You gave him some great advice. He took it. He sent out some supporting documentation. And then I said, look, call these people, get a consultation. So check this out. So now this guy's staring down the barrel of liens and levies against his home, his business, his bank accounts, and he owes $336,000. Calls me 2 weeks ago. So for $1,600, Weiss and Associates took him on. That covers you for 12 months. That's $1,600 covers everything you would possibly need, and they handle it for you. So they took over the communications, the letters, responses, things like that. He called me 2 weeks ago to tell me that he got a notice of dismissal from the IRS after using. So $336,000, he got it dismissed.
So that's really good. If anybody has big IRS problems, hit them up. I would. Yeah, I mean,
again, and I'll throw my email out there. It's SJ for Stephen John. SJ Bardi. So Stephen John Bardi, BARDI, SJ Bardi @gmail.com. If you have any questions, you want that resource information, please hit me up. I answer emails within 20-30 minutes usually. So it's probably because I have no life, but I'm always available.
That's not true. And I want people to take note. Like, obviously, we're not here just to make ourselves bigger, better. It's about bringing real help. And if they're really willing to help someone get out of a $330,000 debt, then we're willing to share it. That's how it is. But if you're willing to corrupt and steal from people, then we're willing to expose your ass too. And that's literally who we are. We keep it as genuine as we can. That's why we've always, like, anybody we associate with, they're like, man, these people are really genuine. And we are. We just don't like to see others taken advantage of. But anytime we see someone doing good, like what you just explained, we're like, yeah, bro, share it. We're not like, no, don't share it. We only want them to go to us, Steve, please. Oh my God. No, actually, hell no.
You know what I just thought of? I'm going to reach out to them. I'm going to call them and ask them if they'd be interested. I was just going to say, I'm going to see if they'd be interested and come back on the podcast since we're using them as a resource.
If you tell them it's us, they're going to be, because they used to follow all of my stuff. And I was like going super viral on TikTok before I got my 10-year ban. But
and
I think they would, dude, to be honest, because I swear.
I think so too. And I think it's, again, I want people to really understand that we're here for both. If you want to go through the process, if you're in trouble, like, look, and again, I understand there's a lot of people who are kind of skeptical. They're afraid. I've been a non-taxpayer officially since 2021, and I would not change a single thing. I wouldn't.
It's super simple. Once people get it, Steve, you're just not really a federal employee.
That's it. It's really not that hard. Dude, I'm telling you, man, it's incredible. So I'm on a group text with a couple of my friends, and they're talking about like taxes and this and that. Or they were talking about something. My buddy's got to file taxes because he takes federal student loans for his daughters to go to school. Mm-hmm. So I responded to the group text. I go, taxes. I said, explain to me, what exactly is that? I'm like, I'm not familiar with the term. He's like, go fuck yourself, Steve. He's like, So here's
just
my
curious.
take on and you bring up a good point. My view on the assemblies is this. I think I look at me working in corporate America, I look at as state assembly as what we call. Are you familiar with a BNI group, Business Networking International? All right, there's something called BNI. They have outfits across every one of the 50 states, all over the place.
Okay.
So for me, when I worked for the local cable company, I was in sales for a couple of years. I would go to these BNI groups, and it's a networking event. You go in there, and this is my area of expertise, and we feed each other business. To me, the assemblies seem like a really good tool for resources, questions, things like that. But if you think you're going to rise up and take this country back from a state assembly that has no jurisdiction, no authority, no nothing, all you're going to do is put a fucking big old bullseye in your back. The reason I'm comfortable doing something like this and having these discussions and doing what I do when I'm out in the community is because I understand the process. I understand that if I do get hemmed up legally in some type of fashion, okay, I understand how to represent myself and how to navigate through that part of the system. But if you're just out there just kind of freeballing it and just giving people information, charging them, you're putting a target on your back where both I think they could sue you civilly if you're taking money from people and blatantly lying to them, number one. Number two, you're going to make the state and the federal government, you're going to become what they consider a domestic terrorist because you're blatantly in violation of
for that shit.
Yeah, and so you're better off understanding and using something like this due process defender or getting involved with State Nationals Rock. Well, you're better off coming in here and utilizing. How much fucking free education do you have on your website now that Gwen redid it?
It's pretty
it's
badass.
Insane.
Though. Yeah. And it explains the difference. Like so many people don't know the difference of a sovereign citizen or like a state national. Like what is that? And I can tell you really simple that a sovereign citizen is basically a lot of the people involved with those other groups. Because if you can't go to court and stand up for yourself and you really don't know the legitimate process, you're not free. You're just like in some illusion of something. And I feel really awful saying it. And I also want to note, like, I think all the people that are a part of the assemblies are probably very stand-up good people. And every single one I've met that's a part of it are good people. But they have this, like, this is our leader, and Anna is cultish. Like, dude, go look up her cases. She gets trashed in court. And it's not cool to be able to, like, to say, like, don't go to court, don't learn this, don't, like, it's not cool. It's not how you change the system. It has to be changed by knowledge, not ignorance.
Kenny, I'm going to tell you something right now. There is, hold on, I'm going to look it up. I got to find, so Anna von Reitz, they have a podcast. Okay,
oh, really? I'm sure it's boring as hell. I've already heard her talk.
Kenny,
she's the boringest fucker in the world.
I would rather watch my wife cheat on me than sit through 30 minutes of that show. It's fucking brutal.
It's boring, bro. And is it by design or is it on accident? Because I start to wonder, are these like government agents acting in because their shit is so stupid and obnoxious? I'm just like, bro, I don't know about this.
I want to tell, let me see if I could find it. Hold on. I want to tell people.
I feel bad talking all this shit, but damn, I've been holding it in for such a long time. I'm like, people have to know the truth. And the truth is that their process doesn't hold up in court. All you have to do is realize there is a federal citizen and a state citizen. If there's a citizenship, then there's also a nationality. And if all that exists and it's proven in case law, then you can actually opt out of federal citizenship. And there's case law that backs it, that federal citizenship is voluntary. So why not go through a legal process to remove your voluntary consent? And how do you do that, guys? It's so easy that the government laid it out for you. The government has admitted to crimes against humanity through the Freedom of Information Act. All you have to do as an individual who believes in God is say, look, I believe in God. I can't align with this type of shit. And since you admit to it, that removes your consent. What a legal, intelligent thing. And once you get all that and you put it together, you're like, wow, I don't have to be a federal citizen. Wow, I can opt out. Well, guess what? That opts you out of all that other shit too. Federal income tax, all those things are all voluntary. It's because your citizenship status that you've been accepting is a federal citizenship with no fucking nationality. You don't have a nationality. You don't have rights.
You're property.
You're just property. Your capital. You know what? I found this, Steve. I found an executive order from Bill Clinton where he calls humans capital. No, well, there's an executive order by Bill Clinton, and I'm going to find that bastard.
It refers to us as what?
Human capital.
Yeah, that's because we are the leverage against the debt they keep incurring.
Yeah, it's called the full faith and credit. It's right here, Executive Order 13037. and it refines Americans as human capital. So I went and made sure, verified, pulled everything, read the thing.
Executive order, what is it?
It's 13037 from 1997 by Bill Clinton.
Sweet little lies. Tell me lies. Oh no, no, you can't disguise. You can't disguise. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
And it redefines Americans as human capital. And it does say it. I went and read it. It says it for sure. It says it in like a nice way, but people don't understand why or comprehend why we're called human capital. And this is why. You want to know the straw man? The straw man is labeled as the full faith and credit. Now, there's two versions of full faith and credit. Number one, the full faith and credit clause means that every state has to recognize other states' like court decisions and their seals, their documents. That's why you can use iRecord 365. There's a second full faith and credit, and that's what backs the U.S. debt. What backs the U.S. debt is the full faith and credit is the American fucking labor. So the American labor is one, and the second is the American property. That's why in Florida, how they say, we're going to get rid of the property taxes. It's impossible because it's pledged as the collateral. So if they were, it is possible that they could get rid of it. But because of the pledging, they have to redistribute those taxes in a different tax. You're not escaping the tax. It's going to fall in another position, another play. They're still extracting the same exact amount of labor, because what it comes down to is it's your human labor that's pledged. So taxes are just a form of extracting your human labor, and that's all it comes down to. And a debt note is essentially human labor in paper form. And so anytime someone's lending you money, they're not lending you money, they're lending you human labor. That's what it is. I know they're called debt notes and the way it works, but that's what it truly is. And the only way to really fix this is knowledge and a unified population that wants to change the system. It's not about creating an assembly outside the system, unless the assembly is just used for educational purposes, but you can't restore the republic through the assembly. You can only assemble to create a well-informed population to go and restore it through the means that exist. Because if you go outside the means, you are an enemy of the state and they will come get you. So don't ever do that. Operate through the lawful channels. What are the lawful channels? You have the right to petition. And you use all the different Bill of Rights to exercise. And that's how we roll at State Nationals Rock. We keep everything within the Bill of Rights. We keep everything constitutional. So they can't say, oh, your intent is criminal. No, we followed the letter of the law. We did everything we could to self-determine. We attached it to our passport. We created certified admissible evidence. What's the problem here? There's no problem. You're right, sir. Exactly. That's what I thought. And once we have a well-informed population that can go and fucking smash them in court, that's it. They're done. There's no more lying. There's no more, it's the left. No, it's the right. No, we're going to go fight oligarchy, $15,000 a fucking minute. And then here's Trump. Trump, we're going to take your guns. Did you see that shit? I showed you. He said it. How about we take the guns first, then we go to court? That's fucking red flag gun laws. And that's why I don't support politicians. I support the people. And that's it. And that's kind of how I guess I am with all this other fake stuff that's been pissing me off for such a long time, because I stopped talking about anyone else because I thought, man, why show it in a negative light? But then they just keep fucking doing it. And then nobody's gaining any traction. It makes me think, are these people put in place? Either they're just greedy and ignorant, or they're literally put there to destroy people realizing that the republics exist. There's a lawful means to restore it. And we just have to get united through knowledge and get together peacefully. Yeah. And that's it. That's it. That's all it takes.
So my next question would be this, Kenny. What can somebody do if walk somebody through the process? Let's just pretend it's me.
Okay.
I jumped on this call with you. I just heard about State Nationals Rock. I'm new to the scene. I want to gather some information, but I'm in a little bit of a legal pickle. But someone informed me about the due process defender. What would your recommendation be for next steps?
I would just just get the due process defender and run your case through it. It's going to literally, you explain it in the most basic terms and you just ask it for any type of help. And it's literally going to break down the help. Correcting your political status after the fact of being in trouble serves you nothing. You're lacking knowledge. Your mind is in a position of fight or flight, so it's erratic. It's not in a state of learning. You don't learn well when you're in a position like that. So you have to be in a calm state of your life to be able to learn this type of knowledge, or else you're not going to grasp it. Your brain won't hold the knowledge when you're in a state like that. So if it was me, I would just run it through the due process defender, defeat the fucking case, come back, and then establish yourself learning, correct your political status, remove your obligational. It's not obligational, it's optional. Remove your optional, because you don't have to be a federal citizen. You can opt out of that shit, and that's all we're doing. We're claiming our right to self-determination to get our nationality back from the constitutional republic we're born. And then you do all that. And then all the knowledge is going to grasp, it's going to stick. You're going to be like happy. You're going to learn enjoyably. You try to do this shit while you're in a fight or flight position in court, you're screwed. No, it's going to backfire. It'll backfire on you.
The reason I asked you this question and you couldn't have answered it in a better fashion, it's all in preparation. Okay. So if you take a well-trained military as an example, they train. So what happens is the day they get activated, if there's live fire, they get thrust into a gunfight, their brain has done this cyclically over and over and over and over again, played out this scenario. They know what to. So I like to use this as like an analogy, but the same way the military trains for the worst case scenario, it's imperative that we as the population prepare for the worst case scenario, which I believe we're currently in. You're seeing corrupt justices, corrupt courts, the politicians. It's never been more blatant that they don't give a flying fuck about any one of us. They just want to maintain power. So the best case scenario is if you have nothing going on, but this piqued your interest, that's the best time to invest yourself into this process when you have nothing going on in your life. So if that's the case, reach out to us, let us answer your questions, get your political status corrected, get the knowledge, and then get the app if you want it, and then just fuck around with it, play with it, see what it does. For those of you at the other end of the spectrum where your back's against the wall, you're in the middle of some legal bullshit, don't worry about correcting your status right now. It's not going to help you. It's not going to do anything for you at this moment in time.
No.
The due process defender, on the other hand, will.
It will, bro. It's beyond. You couldn't hire a lawyer that knows as much as that damn thing. Well, that's what scares them, dude. So they're terrified of AI.
You can't hire an attorney that knows as much as them, number one. Number two, you probably can't afford to have an attorney teach you everything this thing knows.
Yeah.
So
they're terrified of it, dude. There's a federal law. There's a law that if you're using AI, you're supposed to disclose it. I don't know if you know that, because they're so terrified of that shit. That was the only way my friend had a fighting chance. And he kind of gave me the idea too, because they did medical tyranny, bro. They took his kid over chemotherapy because the doctors.
Is this your buddy that I talked to that time?
Probably. He's my only friend that had that happen, and
he came by and got you all sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay.
Poor guy. Yeah. I mean, I feel really bad. It's the worst. It's anytime I talk to him, I feel so bad, dude. People don't know this.
He's in a horrible situation.
In our country, the biggest tyranny of all has to do with doctors in the medical system. And nobody knows that. You think the vaccines are bad. Shit, let a doctor diagnose your kid with ADHD and require medication, and you say no. You know why? They'll call CPS, bro, right away. Right away.
I have to tell you a story.
Yes.
To your point, I have to tell you a story. Okay, so you have you seen my nephew? Have you ever caught him on camera?
The little small kid,
Julian. Yeah, all right,
cute, handsome boy.
So Julian's 3.5 years old. He starts school in August. He's going to a Catholic school here in Rhode Island, and so they do an initial appointment. So you go in, he sits with a group of kids, see how he interacts, things like that. Kid was he was doing great with everything. First thing they noticed was, he gets distracted easily. Motherfucker, he's 3.5 years old. I'm 46, going on 47. I get distracted easily. What does that mean? So they actually hinted at putting him in special education or on medication because he gets distracted easily. So no, listen, my sister-in-law's a nurse. Like he's got no vaccines. Like he doesn't nothing.
Okay, good.
So she's on, but she's one of us. So I said, Carissa, I don't know how you composed yourself. I would have flipped the fucking desk over if someone said, "Oh, your kid gets distracted easily." Do you ever think that maybe 3.5-year-olds don't belong in school? They belong out being fucking children.
Yeah.
You're breaking their spirit. You're teaching them to sit and shut the fuck up for 6-7 hours a day. Like,
Dude, I fucking hate the system for that,
3.5 years old. So like he's into dinosaurs right now. So he's big into T-Rex. So I said, I'll tell you what, their comment was stupid. You should have came back and said, okay, if my kid can't pay attention, how about this? He loves dinosaurs. Why don't you dress up like a fucking T-Rex all day? He'll do whatever the fuck you tell him.
Since you said homeschool, I want to say I don't have any affiliation with this gentleman, but I can tell you from what I've seen, the best homeschool program I've seen comes from a gentleman on Instagram that I watch that was a school teacher. And when
What's
all the
the name?
bullshit, it's Cubs. He has these books called, what are they called? Cubs versus, let me find his name because he's legit and I think he should be shared. Even though he probably don't like any of my stuff, I see him sometimes copy some of the videos I would make. I was like, oh, because the videos I would make are really good, but he bases his stuff a little bit more. And one time I put a post where it showed like 80 something percent had dual citizenship, and they were like kind of fact checking me now that it's coming back. Yeah, it looks like they all do. And then let me find his name. Shoot Cubs.
I just
here it is.
CUNS.
It's Cubs to Bears Books is his name, but let me find his actual view profile. It's his thing is called classicallearner.com, and he has a homeschool program that is fantastic. If you want to homeschool your kids with real life things, he even teaches you how to find propaganda. Our children are being poisoned through the air, the water, the food, the indoctrination, and all of us are so blinded and ignorant and caught up in our lives that we can't unite enough to stop the chemtrails, to stop the poisoning in our water, to stop the poisoning in these things. We can't get together. We're too busy fighting, and there's too many shitty movements out there. And I really wish people would just collectively say, look, let's just get together, let's get done with the bullshit, and let's change this. I'm sick of it. Because atrazine is the number one chemical that's causing this feminization of men. Atrazine comes from a Chinese company that was sold to China Kim. Now it's called something else, but it's still a Chinese state-owned company like CCP shit. And they own Syngenta. Syngenta is now owned by them. They produce atrazine. Atrazine sprayed in all of our fields, 80,000 fucking gallons a year, and that leaches into the water supply, and that's what's in the water supply. And that's where that UC Berkeley scientist, Tyrone Haynes, did the study with atrazine on a lower level than what's in our drinking water, and all the frogs, 75% were feminized, 1 in 10 transgendered into male to female.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
This is our fucking problem. Yeah. We have a bunch of ignorant adults that don't have the courage or the time to stand up, and then we have a bunch of betas that want to run around talking shit, pissing off all the alphas. And I'm just like, when can we get together and when can we get the betas back to alphas? Because I don't think they want to be betas. I think they're chemically castrated.
They don't know the difference.
I think it's honestly they're poisoned and they need our help.
I really wanted to use tonight to get the due process defender out there. Okay. I highly recommend anyone that hasn't looked at the statenationalsrock.com website recently, go check it out. Completely revamped. Gwen has done an astounding,
it was all Gwen,
unbelievable job. She taught herself how to do all this. You guys, and I don't want to get into it now because that's personal shit, but like you've had issues with your supplier, the old person who managed your website.
Screwed us. Totally screwed us.
So, for if there's any curiosity as to why we've been a little bit, my work schedule, summertime is my busy time of year, so I do apologize for the inconsistency with the shows every week. It's very hard for me right now. You guys,
just when you can, bro. It's not a big deal.
But I like this. You know what I mean? First of all, I miss you in a very non-homo way. I miss you.
Well, I miss you too, Steve, in a very non-homo way too.
But this was too much. We needed to get this out there, that due process defender, and you guys are running a special on it right now.
I feel bad talking a lot of shit, but I want people to know there's truth in it. I'm not against the movement. I'm against the lies in the movement. That's all.
There are a lot, and this is coming from somebody who found 3 other people prior to stumbling upon your video. So
Yeah.
I can attest firsthand. And again, listen,
Yeah.
this is the reason I bring up there are other podcasts out there that aren't on this specific topic, but they
Yeah.
touch on the niche in
Yeah.
terms of like, debt, foreclosures,
Yeah.
the legality, sovereign citizens. I highly recommend everybody go check out one of our competitors' podcasts and then come back and check out ours. And just the amount of information, the strategy we put together for people. We've gone over the documents, the paperwork, like, it wouldn't be that hard to go back and listen to all of our shows. This is number 14, so you're not looking at like days and days of a commitment.
Yeah.
But every single show we do, there's value, there's free information, and there's resources, and there's also like us. Like we are always available. I'd like to think that we're very good strategists in terms of whatever somebody might be dealing with. So again, go check out the new statenationalsrock.com website.
Yeah.
Book an appointment with Kenny, Ashley, or Gwen if you have specific things that you need. I should probably get set up where you could book appointments with me. I think it's a long time past due. I put a lot of time in terms of like answering calls and emails. But I don't know. I feel guilty.
You could message the boss and see if someone wants to. They could put up a link to be able to book directly with you. I mean, you could do that. You have to message the boss. She's the one that would be able to help you.
I have a State Nationals Rock OnlyFans page where I get in these very seductive, borderline questionable positions, but I'm always in SNR gear.
$10,000 for me by myself. For that you get the head, the tail, the whole damn thing.
So,
there's
that'd
some
be
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
SNR bathing suits, SNR thongs. There's no limit to what we could do with this. You want to make love to freedom? Welcome to the SNR Sex Toy Podcast.
Oh my God. You're funny. That's funny, Steve.
I need counseling is what I need. And I want to know.
We have SNR counseling.
Yeah. So listen, there we go. And I'd like to know, somebody on YouTube had commented that I was a creep on one of the shows. And I'm going to tell you, sir, you're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
You are
That's
not
so
wrong.
Funny. Well, I mean, not really. Steve's like the nicest guy. He just has a fucking. This is Steve's thing. He has a firefighter's sense of humor. If
That's
you
a perfect
ever
way to put
fucking
it.
meet a firefighter and you talk to them about jokes, one, they're not going to be on your level. You're going to think some shit's funny. They're not. They see a lot of fucked up shit, so they have a much harsher, sense of humor. That's fucking Steve. That's how he is. He's exactly like a firefighter.
My goal with every new encounter, every person I meet, I want you to feel safe. I want you to know that I'm here to help, but I also want you to know that it's not cool to leave me with your farm animals. That's kind of where I'm at. So, and my parole will back me up on that. So, not really.
That's
on parole.
funny. You're hilarious. All right, close this out.
All right, so listen, from State Nationals Rock, episode 14,
Shakas.
Steve, Kenny, we both thank you so much. Kenny, honestly, thank you for that in-depth breakdown of...
Sorry for talking shit, guys. Sorry.
No, listen, it's important that people understand that there are those of us out there who genuinely want to help. And look, it's never good to just outright attack somebody, but at the end of the day, you get attacked. People come at you. Our competitors, your competitors come at you. They comment on you. So it's just one of those things like...
I know.
I take that I would take that as a badge of honor, because if they're attacking you, that means you're a threat to them. But you're a threat to them because you're genuine. Like there is, again, the reason I hated sales is because I'm not a liar. The reason I'm comfortable doing this is because I don't need to lie to people to tell you what an incredible journey, process, education this is. And I will say, was it for Easter? I was at my mother-in-law's for Easter, and my mother-in-law's boyfriend was a liberal prior to the 2020 election. And after spending a lot of time with me and Brianna, they've been dating for about 5 years now, but after spending some time with us and knowing more and more about this process, he's like, I'm not really anything anymore. He goes, you've kind of shown me that it's a scam. So his mother is a diehard liberal. And she's a sweet woman. I love her. This is the second year in a row. Every year, my wife and I host a Mother's Day brunch. So we have all the mothers. We have like 12 to 16 people here every year.
Okay.
So
I'm listening.
My mother-in-law's boyfriend, I talked to his mother about this process on Easter. And I went from, she went from telling me that, well, if nobody paid their income taxes, we wouldn't have a country.
Okay.
So I went into discussion. I told her and I showed proof, evidence. I backed everything up with facts. So her daughter is married to who was her professor in college. And this is the guy, this is one of those liberals where...
How did that happen? That's a whole nother story. We'll talk about that another day.
That's a different fucking podcast. Okay. So now we're at the point where I took this woman she's an older woman, 2-time breast cancer survivor, who went from butting heads with me on certain topics. Now the conversation is, what would it take for me to sit and have a debate with her son-in-law, the daughter's husband? She goes, he's such a miserable fuck. She goes, he makes me embarrassed to be Democrat. She goes, I would love to put you two in the room together to see what he would do with all your knowledge. I could tell you right now what he would do. He would get the fuck up and leave because they don't want the truth.
Yeah, they don't want it.
The reason I bring this story up is that I'm comfortable having these conversations with an array of people. Doesn't matter what your education level is. I specifically enjoy it when I find someone that's very hard right, very hard left, and then I can kind of just systematically strip away the illusion. But what's awesome, Kenny, is sitting at a table full of people at Easter dinner, 8, 9, 10 people sitting in
Ishtar
dinner. But sitting at a table with all these people with conflicting views, and me having the ability to hold court and convince them all of the illusion. What's awesome is to watch the aha moments happen in real time.
People don't know how badass you are at explaining in public. Steve has no fear. He's probably the best at sitting in a group of people and explaining it in a way that anyone can understand. So people may think Steve's a little bit rough on the maybe not this episode. I think I was the rough one, but typically it's you.
I'm the loose cannon.
And I'm the sweet one, like, come on, guys, let's get unity together. This time over here, pimp slapping shit around. But yeah, Steve has this this uncanny ability to be able to show people the truth and draw all their attention, answer all the questions, and people can't compare to you. You have a very unique ability to be able to pull that off. And a lot of people can't.
What I've realized
probably better than me, to be honest.
Well, what I realized a long time ago is that before I even engage in what can be a argumentative type conversation, whatever the topic is, my first inclination is, okay, you're going to try to get me to see your point of view. I'm going to get you to see my point of view. So before we even start out with that argumentative mindset, let me break bread and establish some common ground. So depending on who my audience is, I'll start with something that I know we'll agree on based on what their likes and dislikes are.
Yeah.
Establish that common ground so their mind is more open to hearing my words.
Yeah.
I do that with every encounter, and I'm batting 1,000. I've gotten nobody on this particular topic that came when I was done with my spiel and I heard their end. I've gotten nobody yet you're full of shit, you're this, yeah. Everybody wants more information. And it's just, I would rather learn from you. I want you to learn from me. I think the most important piece to that is understanding your audience and then targeting my words to what I suspect they'll react in a positive manner to. Once I've done that, I feel like the conversation flows much easier. We may not agree on everything.
You're thinking of what they're going to respond to. You're not just blurting shit out. You're like, what's going to work?
No,
you're intentionally saying things to trigger a good response, with intention.
So what we did at Easter is I was listening to the conversations that my mother-in-law's boyfriend, John, his mother, Cynthia, I was listening to the conversations she was having with her boyfriend and with my parents. So I'm just sitting there absorbing. So I kind of knew what and you could tell by people's mannerisms, even if they don't speak. This is why I don't like phone calls. I like face-to-face things because I could see what she's reacting positively and negatively to. So what my mind does, if I want to engage her in conversation, I know what keywords to use, but I also know what made her smile, what made her frown, what made her upset, what got her physically excited, physically agitated. So I can target my words around her emotions to evoke the emotions I want to pull out of her. Yeah. So it's an art, it's a talent, it's something I've perfected over the years, but it's just a matter of being able to read the room and understand, like, we're all coming from different places in life. So my experiences may not jive with yours. Yeah. So if you're going to hear me and understand my message, I have to put this to you in terms that you are going to absorb. So it
know,
can be tricky.
I wanted to say something that's really cool. Over this year, I'm working on like a alpha male course, and I think you should participate because you'd be a great asset to show how alphas can stop drinking the government Kool-Aid, the fluoridated water that has atrazine, and start to get that shit out of your body. And how to work out. You'd be the workout one because the way that I work out is not like yours organized version. But watch, over this next year, I'm gonna be fit as hell because I'm focusing on it. And I used to be really huge. I was a big fitness guy before I started all this movement. But when they put the mask on, I couldn't go to the gym. I was like literally trying to knock everyone out with the mask on. I was pissed.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
I was so mad. But I want to restore that for the men because I don't want to be making fun of people saying you're betas. What I would prefer is to be the solution. Let's create an alpha class and let's take a bunch of people that don't know their masculinity and let's restore it in a positive way so we can stop having all these issues. You know?
I'm going to take it a step further. What we should do is put together a program, and this is something you and I could probably start to work on immediately. And I already have some idea. It's a great idea, but I think in order to start to do this, you have to do something along the lines of like you have to start to detox first. You got to flush you have to go through like your parasite cleanse, the heavy metal detox. You have to flush these toxins that are preventing you from realizing who you are spiritually.
We have all that
masculinity. No,
Ashley's
I know you
the
do.
master detoxer, bro. She detoxed Vinny with blood tests, and we have it on our spiritual website.
So listen,
we know everything.
We're
about
gonna
detox.
we're gonna have Ashley back on the website, and I don't want to give it away right now. But what Ashley is doing with your son right now it's something that RFK should be made aware of in terms of the magnitude of what this can do.
He's a bad guy. They're all bad guys,
but I'm saying, but like,
for what people
I'm just trying to think of like someone like the general population would listen to. We'll do a podcast soon because what Ashley's working on with Kenny for anyone who has a vaccine injured child, family member. It is so profound what she's working on. I don't want to give it away right now, but there's what you guys are doing. The things that you're working on is literally it's the roadmap to help everyone take control. And I would love to be a part of that piece of it, like helping people regain control of their health. That's my wheelhouse. You know, I could take someone, you know, who's had a lifetime of health issues, things like that. Like that's what I excel at. I can help peel back the layers and figure out what root causes might be. But again, we've talked about this. This is part of this journey. Like becoming a state national is so much bigger, or the state national family is so much bigger than just, I don't want to pay taxes, I want to beat speeding tickets. It's all about reclaiming what your life was supposed to be.
You can't
instead
serve
of what
God
the
and
government
mammon,
made it.
bro. That's it.
No.
You can't serve God and you can't serve mammon. You have to pick one. And if all your taxes are going to, you know, blow shit up that doesn't have nothing to do with your people, if all your tax dollars are being sent overseas to benefit another country, where's God? Where's God? While your veterans are in the streets, while our country's fucked to shit, we're sending money everywhere in the world. That's not God. That's mammon. No. All the shit in our country is based on mammon, and everyone's following it like it's nobody's business, and I don't. So that's what I really think. I think you can't follow one or the other. And obviously, I'm not a saint, but you know, I still do the right thing when nobody's looking. That's what I do. Well, that's something I didn't always.
Character.
I had to learn that because when I was younger, I'd be doing all the mischievous shit. And I think all of us are that way, Steve. Right? All of us are the ones who questioned that are doing this right now.
Yeah, and listen, you have to listen. I think you and I are at this point in our life primarily because we've made a lot of mistakes, but we've also learned and grown from those mistakes. And you realize that the greater good isn't as, it's not this easy. Let me rephrase that. The greater good is not this unattainable thing. It's right there every single day in your behaviors, your actions, the way you interact with the community, the way you treat others around you. Now, people are always going to push back and people are going to treat you in an improper, then fine, just cut those people out of your life.
I treat people pretty good. Even if they, you know, piss me off, I really don't like to mess with them. I just kind of leave them alone. I give them compassion. It takes someone really fucking with me to find out. Like, and you have to really do something bad. I don't condone using any type of force against someone over ignorance. Like, let them be ignorant. Have compassion for the ignorance. What I'm talking about is intentional shit. Like,
malice.
That's the ones I don't have anything. And that's where the warrior comes out and you're about to find out.
Listen, I'm going to give you a perfect example of this right now.
All right. We're supposed to be closing, but we're going to keep
I know,
going.
we can't help it. I get excited.
Okay.
So now, Kenny, you know that my neighbor across the street he's in end stage congestive heart failure.
Ah.
We did not expect him to make it through the day. He's still hanging on, but he's in hospice care across the street. So my wife and I, you know, we live in a cul-de-sac. We have a very close community here. My wife and I, being the young fitness family, we do a lot of the physicality for our neighbors at all times. I do a lot of this stuff. I'm going to give you the biggest compliment I've gotten so far this year. My wife and I were outside doing yard work the other day. I got a dumpster in the driveway. We did a garage and shed clean out, just reorganizing. So I'm throwing some stuff away in the dumpster, and a pickup truck, like a Nissan Frontier, that's across the street visiting the family, beeps his horn to get my attention. So I turn around, and I've seen this guy there over the years. I've never met him. It's a cousin, I think.
Okay.
He rolls down the window, and he just says, "Hey, brother," he goes, "I want to tell you and your wife from the bottom of my heart," he goes, "God bless you." He goes, "Thank you for being such good neighbors to my family while they're going through this." Because we did like some grocery shopping for her. I went and picked up her meds for her so she wouldn't have to leave the house. Little stuff like that. And I never met this guy. So he just stops in the middle of the road. We're outside just to thank us. He blessed us. And then he just went about his day. That's the legacy I want. I want people to remember. So, but again, like you can't really appreciate this stuff. I couldn't appreciate it when I was younger because I was too busy. I was selfish. I was too busy doing what made me happy.
Me too, bro.
So to me, that was the highlight of my year right there. A man I don't know who that family is watching their patriarch die slowly, and they still found the time to talk about how good me and my wife and I'm not saying this to blow smoke up my own ass, but it's like that's what I want. That's what I want to be known as. I want to be the guy that people can count on, rely on, and they can turn to if you need help. That's why I invest so much of my time and energy into working with you folks and helping your members because it's the right thing to do. 100%.
Yeah. So I know we talk a lot of hot stuff, but we're actually very good people, like always. Like when we were in Hawaii, we got 16 homeless kids bikes, and that's just how we are. We keep doing that.
They stole them from 16 rich kids.
Yeah, like Robin Hood. No, we bought them.
Yeah, man, whatever.
My friend in San Antonio, he donated like $800. Just different people gave us funds. Yeah. And we were able to go and buy all these kids. That's how we are, though. We would feed all the homeless over there. We grew plants and gave them away. We always are super polite to people in public. You know, we tip well. We do everything like you would think good people do. Yeah. We don't just go around slapping people up like, I don't pay tax. Like, no, we're the most honorable, sticking up for you. Like, we will stick up for you. We see some shit going down. Get ready. We're about to body slam somebody.
We're the definition of community. Kenny and I are the type of people you want in your neighborhood because there's nothing we won't do for our brothers and sisters. Yeah. That's the message I'd like to get across.
All my neighbors knew. They're like, fucking Kenny, go ask him. He has all the tools. And my neighbors lose my fucking tools. I'm like, bro.
And by the way, I'd like to point something out. I do want to point out one thing to your credit. So Kenny, Ashley, and Gwen, they had a little bit of a dip in terms of their business this year because of the circumstances of the individual who was operating their website. So they took a financial hit this year. Despite that, they still offered me a position to do some marketing and promotional work for them. Despite the fact that they're losing money, despite the fact that they've taken a hit, they still are extending themselves to try to bring me further into the loop. Yeah, make me more of a part of their family, which to me speaks volumes to your character. Because typically, when people are, when businesses or ministries are in this financial situation, the last thing you're doing is looking to spend more money. So again, it's just you're selfless people. You think of others first.
You do a lot of work, Steve. We want it. We're like, we see you doing it, and we don't want to. Because we see your time being exhausted, and I'm like, he has to have some compensation for his time. That's what we get at. It's about your time.
All I asked for was pictures of Kenny in a unitard for wrestling. That's all I asked for.
Dude, they're gonna think you're serious.
That's the only thing I asked for.
Steve is fucking around. He doesn't do anything like that until you guys know this person. Man, we need more. It's because like. Everybody's so full of baloney nowadays. It's hard for people to get a grip. But I think the guys, like the real people out there know what's up. They get it. They're like, I get it. Y'all motherfuckers are for real. Like, And I think that's the people I want to attract. I don't want to attract someone who's going to fact check me with Snopes. I'm sorry. If you're going to fact check me with Snopes, like, I'm not going to be there like trying to talk to you. I'm just going to be like, block, see you later. I don't have nothing to talk about.
I don't really
I'm
understand.
sorry.
I don't think,
I
look,
know.
if anybody's trying to fact check you, number one, good luck, because the only way to fact check you is to actually go through the process and see for yourself.
Yeah,
Or you can talk to the frauds in this space and let them tell you that we're wrong. But okay.
I'm not perfect, but everything we do, we really try our genuine, all of our heart to make sure and get it right. We don't put anything out there we don't do. Like, we do everything we put out. Like, and I think the difference is we go to court, we show that we win. Like, one time I went to court, admitted to speeding, and the judge dismissed it. And I recorded it. There's nobody else doing that. There's a lot of people who talk about it, but there's no one doing it. Gwen didn't even fucking go to court, got a letter from the prosecutor, dismissed in the name of justice. Nobody else is doing that shit.
No.
People talk about it. Oh, I know. I'm going to go get my tribe. Blah, blah, blah. No, you're not. Quit fucking lying to people.
That's people regurgitating what they saw in a YouTube video. That's what that
is. These are OGs teaching shit to people, acting like they're going to fucking change the world. I'm like, no, fat ass. You're just going to go to McDonald's. Shut up.
We're going to call them
real.
OFs instead of OGs. So instead of original gangsters, we're going to call them original frauds. OFs is what we're going to call them.
I wonder if they're genuine. I wonder if they're just greedy, or I wonder, like, I'm sure it's a variety of things, and I don't want to just like just straight out blow it out the water. But honestly, when it comes to court, they all get their people in trouble, and I think it kind of should be blown out the water, because the goal is to protect our people, to restore knowledge, and to generate unifying information. That's the true goal. It's not to create division and fighting, but whenever they're intentionally doing stuff and people are getting in trouble and constantly emailing us about trouble they got in and they don't have any help, I'm like, bro, when do people figure it out that if it doesn't hold up in court, you shouldn't be doing it? And that's what we want. If we want to change the state of the country, people need to know how to litigate. And you know what does that? Fucking due process defender. Nobody, you couldn't sit next to a lawyer and ask it all these questions and it respond in such a way. It has so much knowledge. I can't even, I mean, it has documents uploaded into it that are 600 pages. Who the fuck can just click on 600 pages and scroll through it and pull the data? And I have a lot of big documents uploaded into it, and nobody can replicate what I've created.
Kenny,
you could try.
Could we do on the next podcast? Could we do a demo of the app?
Yeah, of course, bro.
All right,
of course.
So maybe we'll do that.
It'll whoop out. Okay, so like, even if we just did something like in Texas, I got a red light camera. Automatically, it's going to show you that that's illegal, and it's not even going to challenge whether you're guilty. It's just going to challenge that, hey, that's illegal. Let's get it dismissed based on the constitutional right. And then it pulls up why it's illegal, and it writes your motion, and boom, game over. The whole ticket's gone. Never challenging guilt. That's what's so special about it. You're not fucking with the bullshit. You're not saying, oh, I'm not the name. I am the living man. Fuck all that. It doesn't matter.
Oh, so you mean if I go into court with my long form birth certificate and throw it over the gate and it gets dismissed? That doesn't work?
It doesn't work. Yeah.
All right. So here's two things I want to leave everybody with this podcast.
Okay.
We have the tax piece figured out. I feel very confident that once you separate yourself from a taxpayer to a non-taxpayer, that's very simple, cut and dry. So then there's more money.
How. Super easy.
Very simple. So you have that done. So the two biggest pieces of this process is legal issues and the taxes. Now we have a tried and true process to remove you from becoming a taxpayer.
Yep,
now you have the
app. It's legit. It's your right.
Yes. And now you have the app to absolutely help vanquish incorrect or error-riddled court documents.
Yes.
So the two biggest Achilles heels that this movement has, you now have tools, resources, and assets like us to overcome these things.
That's right.
So now, listen, now if you were ever on the fence about becoming a state national, you have no excuses. And I'll tell you right now, as my grandmother once told me, excuses are no different than assholes. We all have one, okay? So
your grandma told you that? Because that's a common saying.
My grandmother was a crazy Puerto Rican. She told me a lot of shit. That was just one of them.
That's pretty funny.
I'll end it with this, as I was supposed to end this podcast 15 minutes ago. But my grandmother and godmother, hysterical. I tried so hard to get them to do my old podcast to come on as guests, and here's why. Identical twins. They were identical twins. They died when they were 92 and 93. But when they were growing up in Harlem, they were all from New York. My grandmother was the president, and my godmother, her twin sister, was the war counselor for the Latin Aces. So they're a Puerto Rican gang. So in case you guys are wondering, I'm Italian, Puerto Rican, Spanish, and Russian. So my grandmother and godmother, every day when they went to school, they would pack a change of clothes, and then they would go. My grandmother was the president, so she would meet with the president of another gang, and then her twin sister, the war counselor, would fight. They would decide, so this is what you did for turf, where you could not hang out. They would physically go and fight. So my grandmother and godmother were the president and the war counselor for the Latin Aces in Harlem.
What year would you estimate would be that prime time of them doing that? What was the years? Because I know that's going to be hard for you to put that together.
No, so figure it's 2025. They were 93, so 93 years ago. So subtract 25, 68. So I don't know, early 1900s. I'd say probably I'll say 1930s, 40s, somewhere around there. So if you bring us back 25 years, that's 2000, and then so 68 would bring you back to 1932. I'll say in the 50s.
That's cool.
Probably somewhere in the 50s.
That's pretty funny.
It was my grandmother, godmother embodied West Side Story.
My best friend's grandma had a tattoo right here, and we all asked her, "What the fuck is that for, Grandma? What's up, man?" She's like, I was in a gang, and we all got this dot. And I don't think it was right here. It was right here on her cheek, and it was just like a circle. And it wasn't like the teardrop like that one.
Like
it was
a prison tattoo.
It was slightly in a different position. It wasn't in the teardrop location. It was somewhere on her face right there. And
by the way, I realize that I have a large mole on my face.
Where? What? Where's that mole? I didn't see one. Mole, 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 mole.
we used to always ask her, why the fuck do you have that? Because we're all rascals, all of us, little teenagers. And she would tell us, I was in a gang, motherfuckers.
Yeah, they were
beat you up. Yeah,
but that was that era. So I mean, look,
it's all the G eras.
To your point from earlier, we come from a long line of bad motherfuckers. It is what it is.
It is what it is. I know, that's how it is. The bloodlines, it's in the blood.
Yeah, it's in my DNA, dude. I can't help it. So listen, I will end with a really good joke.
Close us down.
All right. When I was younger, when you first meet somebody, you ask your nationality, likes, dislikes, things like that. So I used to tell girls when I met them, I'm Italian and Puerto Rican, which means two things. I'm a great cook, but the Puerto Rican side of me is going to rifle through your wallet while you're eating. So I just...
Terrible, Steve. That's funny. All right.
With that, listen, everybody have a great week. Have a blessed week. Please go check out statenationalsrock.com. Check out the Due Process Defender. If you have any questions, you want to talk to one of us, go online, book an appointment, talk to Kenny, Ashley, Gwen. You can reach out to me for free because I'm a sucker, but I'm simply here to help. Yeah, so Kenny, we'll touch base later this week. I do like your idea about doing that the beta male, what was the name you just said? I don't like re-alpha, something like that. We need to be able to help instead of going after the betas. Let's help them detox and let's teach them how to eat and get rid of the no more atrazine drinking and no more eating So here's what I'm going to do.
No vaccinated meat.
Over the course of this week, I'm going to put together a show we could do next week. I can't record next Monday. Next Monday is my wife's birthday.
Yeah,
so
no worries. Do you want to go over Due Process Defender and run something through it?
Yeah, so we'll do a demo on Due Process Defender.
Okay.
And then I'm going to put together some content. I think we should talk about real actionable steps for someone who wants to start to detox themselves to start this process. So we'll cover that in the next show. But I think a demo of that Due Process Defender would be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to blow up, bro.
So I'm going to go break the law one night this week. I'm going to get arrested, and then we'll run it through the app.
You're terrible. All right, we'll record.
Yes, I'll have Brianna record the whole thing. We'll have video footage and everything.
Awesome.
God knows every time I go to Walmart, it's always a fucking event anyway.
All right.
All right, so for that, from State Nationals Rock, Kenny, thank you so much. Thank you for all this great information. Folks, have a great week. Have a blessed week, and we will talk to you soon. Be the change you want to see.
That's right. SNR Podcast, where freedom for the mind, body, and soul takes center stage. Our goal is to break down the system and expose the truth, and to give you tools to heal, like meditation and breath work. And at the center of it all, we're having a blast. On behalf of Kenny, Steve, Ashley, and Gwendolyn, we thank you so much for coming over, and we hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. But learn how to find us over on Linktree at State Nationals Rock. See you next time on the SNR Podcast.